Here's the situation. We have a large list of data by branch, and what you need is a way to extract the top 50. So let's take a look at my data. First thing I have here is account number, which is pre-sorted numerically to put everything in order based on account number. Then I have account name. That is also in order, but that's just the way it worked out. And I have sales numbers. Now for the technique I'm going to use, part of it is going to have the index match combo formula, and identical values are going to confuse it. I know I'm probably going to have a lot of zeros here, but I can see right off the bat that I have two $650,000 and no change. So I need to make these values unique by adding a very, very small number. Let me show you what I did here. Here's my unique additive, and here's the resulting unique number. I just add these two together to get this. And you can tell by the subtotal of this entire column, if I only carry it out by 2 decimal points, it's the same as this. So I don't think adding such a very small number is going to substantially affect this at all, and I think it's a good way to go. So how did I come up with this? Well, I used the count formula, the subtotal count, to seed it or get it going. This means basically that there's 229 rows of data here, and then I just divide by a very, very large number to get a very, very small number. Then this formula and all the ones below it, take the one directly above it and subtract it by this very small 0.000000001 number. So they're going down in descending order. And the reason why I chose to go down in descending order is because I already have these account numbers sorted in order, numerical order, and when I come to a tie, I want to force this the result to be numerically ordered as well. So this 226 is going to force account number 04 above 05 in the results. So now let's go over to the top 50. The sales number formula is the first formula to kick this whole thing off, so let's go through it. The first part of this here is way to catch the end of the data. It's just saying, hey, look above this. If it's blank, then just put a blank here and don't put an error. The meat of this formula is the large, and the large is working off of the unique dollar amounts I created on the data sheet. That's the column. And if you don't know how to use a large formula, you usually put a number in here to show which large number you want to look for. For example, if I had a 1 in here, that would mean you would want to pull back the largest. If I had a 2, it would be the second largest, and so on. But here I chose to put a cell reference. It's referring to this, which is blank right now. But as soon as I put a number in there, it'll start to work. Then I had to wrap this whole large in an if error on the odds that the data on the data sheet doesn't have the number that I'm looking for. So let's look at the account number. I have the same trick, it's just shifted down one row. Now it's looking for a blank on the same row, but that's just to find the end of the data and not return an error. The meat of this is the index match that I was talking about earlier that would have been confused with identical values, but the match first goes to the unique values column that I created. It's looking for this sales value that's already returned here, and then the index part kicks off and says, okay, when you find this in here along the same row, pull back whatever is in column A, which is account number, because that's what's in column A. And then to pull back the account name, I have the same trick at the beginning, but I used a VLOOKUP, so it's going to go off the account number, it's going to find it in this range and return whatever's in column 2, which is account name. So really all I need to do to get this thing going is to pound in a 1. And then I'm going to go 2 and 3, just to point out these two ties. I said earlier that these are two exact figures. If I didn't make them unique, the results here would have been a 04 Joe's 3 twice. So I broke the tie, and I broke it in descending order, so it forces 04 to be above 05. So let's just grab this whole thing now, and I can drag it down 50. And there's my top 50. Any ties are broken numerically, partly because that's how they're sorted on the other tab. Now let's just say, for example, I have multiple branches. I wanted to use the same technique on each branch. Here, I know branch 1 has 229 accounts, so I only wanted to pull top 50. Usually that's what you do. You want to pull a top, which is going to be a smaller number than the total. But if I'm going to use this against multiple branches, there may be a chance that I'm going to pull a 50 out of all of them, and one of those branches won't even have 50. So let's see what that looks like, because that was my ending trick. So I know I have 229, so if I go past 229, you can see what I'm talking about right there. Here in this example, I wanted to see the top 233 on a data set that only had 229. So instead of returning errors, my force it to be blank trick worked. So when I look at this, I know, okay, I wanted 233, but this branch only had 229. Let me show you what I did here. And that is a way to solve the SNADE.